Hello, this is Scott Coombe at togetwellnow.com. Uh, this is the first of 3 videos that we're going to talk about the foundation of your health and how to improve it. So welcome. In this video series, we're going to be talking about your health from a number of different perspectives. In video 1, we're going to take a look at the most fundamental aspect of our health that we can control. There's actually 2, but one we can control. In video 2, we're going to take a look at the state of our health over the last century and see where health in total has trended. In video 2, we're also going to take a look at the 4 most popular alternative treatments to ailing health available. This is not one that you want to miss. In video 3, we shall look at the magic bullet for health, if there can really be one, and see how to get well and remain healthy for life. So, the fundamental aspect of our health. So looking at our health, what is the most fundamental aspect our bodies require of us to survive and to thrive? Air, that's right. So without air, we wouldn't last more than a few minutes without oxygen flowing into our lungs. Air is critical. Every time we sit, driving, working, computing, watching TV, or eating, we only get about 2/3 of the O2 that we require. And because we spend most of the day sitting, we're often very oxygen deprived. Now that is why it is important to take 5 deep gut breaths a number of times every day. So that's filling up your whole entire lungs all the way down to your solar plexus. And much like you would learn in yoga, before you learn all the stretches, you learn how to breathe because it's so important to oxygenate your brain. Okay? And you need to do that about every 4 hours or so. Okay? At least 3 times a day. Get up and take 5 deep breaths. Okay? So that's oxygen. The second fundamental aspect to our health is it the nutrition? Is it proper supplementations, vitamins and minerals, enzymes? Is it a clean spirit? Is it exercise? Is it positive mental attitudes? We're on the right track, but for our health, the second most fundamental ingredient is water. We would only last a few days without water. And yes, we can survive 40 or so days without food. That may be our 3rd or 4th foundation, but it's not the same. Yet while we would only last a few days without water, we can survive a long, long, long time without proper water. And yet we will not thrive. So, we're going to dissect this and find out what all this proper water is about. So proper water is water that the body can utilize. So let's pause. Utilize. It doesn't matter how much water you drink. It only matters how much of that water your body can utilize. Some water you drink and your body cannot utilize it. That means that your water will not hydrate you. Your body will not detox you. And the water will not bring nutrients into your cells. It's very important. Some examples: Cokes and colas, teas, coffees, Gatorade, sports drinks, smart water, vitamin water. Now your body will not be able to utilize that water. It'll utilize the sugar and the caffeine, but it's not going to be able to utilize the water. Okay, now for me, I drank between a 6-pack and a 12-pack of Mountain Dew every single day for 22 years. Okay? Now, where in there is there anything healthy my body can use? Okay? Now, we're going to get to that. So let's take a quick look at the body's requirement for that good, clean water. The Earth's surface is 70% water. Similarly, our body contains about 70% water, and it requires that proper water. This means the water that is whole. It's not filled with syrup, it's not filled with sugary drink mix, it's not with coffee or tea added. What your body needs and will utilize is just plain old clear water. So let's see what how your water measurements are. Tap water is great stuff, but there are problems that need to be addressed. Tap water by law is required to be neutral or slightly alkaline. If it were not, it would ruin the millions of miles of pipes and drains and water infrastructure that transport it to our houses and wherever we need it for convenience. So by law, the water department does what is required to alkalize our drinking water, much like you would a pool. So that means that they can add lye or chlorine or any bicarbonates that they need to get the water neutral to slightly alkaline. Do you want to drink water with lye and chlorine in it? Well, you are. And that doesn't make the water better for your body, and it doesn't make it more utilizable. So also, by law, tap water is required to be extremely oxidative. And that's to kill any microbes or bacteria or diseases. And that's a good thing, because we don't want cases of malaria or cholera or other microbial diseases floating in our drinking water. Okay? But at the same time, that oxidative water creates free radicals in our bodies, which are the foundation to aging and many diseases, including cancer. Simply put, this chemically induced alkalinity and very oxidative water is very bad for our body. So we need to filter our water, or our body will be the filter for these harmful chemicals. So a filter for our water is very important. Yet, though it takes out all the bad chemicals, it makes the water acidic again, like it was beforehand. So giving us acidic water, plus all the acids in our natural diet, add up and up and up and up into a very bad thing called acidosis. Now as well, we'll cover acidosis in video 2. Now as well, the water is still very oxidative, creating a double whammy to our body's health, okay, which ages us so much faster than we need. So what options do we have? What do we have? We have reverse osmosis water. We have bottled water and filtered water. All these options have the same fundamental problem. They're acidic, they're oxidative, and they're going to hurt our bodies. Also, they have a poor molecular structure. And this is where things get very interesting. Did you know that water has a favorite music? Did you know that your thoughts and feelings affect water? Do you know how old water is? We're drinking the same water that the dinosaurs used to drink. Now, we can see in the structure of water, water is little more than H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen. So the way that the 2 hydrogen atoms are bonded to the oxygen atom will create a different magnetic pole, determining on how many water molecules will combine into a water cluster. Okay? Now there's a big difference between these 2 water clusters. And there is more than one way to affect the structure of water. Dr. Masaru Emoto has been researching the structure of water for over 20 years. In 1999, he published a little book called Messages in Water that examined the structure of crystalline water. He exposed water to happy words, prayers, music, and photographs, and then he froze a small sample of that. Here's a picture of love and gratitude. So now think of all the things that water does in the body. It carries nutrients to the cells, helps the brain function, flushes toxins out. Which structure do you think may perform those tasks better? In Japan's Shimanto River, where it's known as the last clean stream in Japan, and from the Bawaku Lake in Japan, where the pollution is getting worse. Look at the poorly formed crystalline structure. The water's not even been able to make a crystal anymore. So what is water's favorite music? According to Dr. Emoto, water enjoys classical music best. And there's Bach on the G string. Gives the impression that the crystal is dancing merrily along. Some Mozart. And heavy music resulted in this disastrous structure. It's as if the water is not even able to combine. It just clusters and clusters and can't form a good structure. And these are just words taped onto a glass. And this is what those words happen to affect the water. Now notice how the good water crystals and the clusters have 6 sides to them. And this will be important in the next two videos. Tap water in the U.S. cities. So what about emotion? So there's a 30-day test that people are doing all over. Now you take 2, maybe 3 jars of cooked rice. One says thank you or love on the other, and on the other it says I hate you or something that you want to say, very negative. And the third you put with them, but you totally ignore it. Now you use cooked rice as it's the water content within it that will change within the rice. So that's 30 days of focusing your emotions on that. So for at least 30 seconds twice a day, people project the emotions written on the rice, and it'll either spoil or remain fresh. So the structure, all this relates to the structure of water. Structure of water is very important. The music, the emotions, the written words. Now, how can we relate to the structure of water to how we utilize water? Dr. Shik Jhon, hexagonal, who's probably studied more about water than any person alive, has written that the hexagonal water is energetically more powerful than unorganized water. It's six-sided. So the energy, calories, the hexagonal water can store or transfer is measurably greater than unorganized water. So energy is an indicator of water's capacity to perform work within the body, and explains why hexagonal water is a preferred choice of biological organisms. And that means your cats, your dogs, lions, bears, bees, and all the myriads of other creatures roaming the earth. If given a choice, they want hexagonal six-sided water clusters. So why do animals crave hexagonal six-sided water clusters? Because they know instinctively that microclustered water will be utilized in their body. Now in closing, I want you to think about this. I know that there is a growing consciousness about eating very good food nowadays. But as 70 to 80% of our body is water, doesn't it make sense to place our focus on what we drink before we worry over our food? This is the second fundamental foundational issue for our health and our body. So in video 2, we will be talking about who's responsible for our health, the current state of health in America, and the top 4 alternative modalities to bring awesome health. Thank you very much, guys.